Of Khoj Gurbani. We continue with our exposition on Asa Ki Vaar. The presenter today is Chetandeep Singh, who will, I believe, touch on Pauri number 11. Chetandeep, it's all yours.
ਹਾਂਜੀ thank you ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ
Savaji Fateh.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਫਤਿਹ ਜੀ
So I would request everybody or anyone who wants to chime in, it's not all mine, but I would like your help in going over this body. Let's start by reading the body. ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸਚ ਕਾਲ ਕੂੜ ਵਰਤਿਆ ਕਲ ਕਾਲਖ ਬੇਤਾਲ ਬੀਓ ਬੀਜ ਪਤ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਅਬ ਕਿਉਂ ਉਗਵੈ ਦਾਲ ਜੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ ਉਗਵੈ ਰੁੱਤੀ ਹੋ ਰੁੱਤ ਹੋਏ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਹੇ ਬਾਹਰਾ ਕੋਰੈ ਰੰਗ ਨਾ ਸੋਏ ਭੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੁੰਭ ਚੜਾਈਐ ਸਰਮ ਪਾਹੋ ਤਨ ਹੋਏ ਨਾਨਕ ਭਗਤੀ ਜੀ ਰੱਪੈ ਕੂੜੈ ਸੋਏ ਨਾ ਕੋਏ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਲਬ ਪਾਪ ਦੋਇ ਰਾਜਾ ਮਹਿਤਾ ਕੂੜ ਹੁਆ ਸਿਕਦਾਰ ਕਾਮ ਨੇਬ ਸਦ ਪੁੱਛੀਐ ਬਹਿ ਬਹਿ ਕਰੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਅੰਧੀ ਰਈਅਤ ਗਿਆਨ ਵਿਹੋਣੀ ਭਾਏ ਪਾਹੇ ਭਰੇ ਮੁਰਦਾਰ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਨੱਚੇ ਵਾਜੇ ਵਾਵੇ ਰੂਪ ਕਰੇ ਸਿੰਗਾਰ ਉੱਚੇ ਕੂਕੇ ਵਾਦਾ ਗਾਵੇ ਜੋਧਾ ਕਾ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਮੂਰਖ ਪੰਡਤ ਹਿਕਮਤ ਹੁਜਤ ਸੰਜੈ ਕਰੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਧਰਮੀ ਧਰਮ ਕਰੇ ਗਵਾਵੇ ਮੰਗੇ ਮੋਖ ਦੁਆਰ ਜਤੀ ਸਦਾਵੇ ਜੁਗਤ ਨਾ ਜਾਣੈ ਛੱਡ ਬਹਿ ਘਰ ਬਾਰ ਸਭ ਕੋ ਪੂਰਾ ਆਪੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਘਟ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਆਖੈ ਪਤ ਪਰਵਾਣਾ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਪਾਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਨਾਨਕ ਤੋਲਿਆ ਜਾਪੈ ਮਹਿਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਵਦੀ ਸੁਵਜਗ ਨਾਨਕਾ ਸੱਚਾ ਵੇਖੈ ਸੋਏ ਸਭਨੀ ਛਾਲਾ ਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਕਰਤਾ ਕਰੇ ਸੋ ਹੋਏ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾਤ ਨਾ ਜੋਰ ਹੈ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਿਉ ਨਵੇਂ ਜਿਨ ਕੀ ਲੇਖੈ ਪਤ ਪਵੈ ਚੰਗੇ ਸੇਈ ਕੇ ਪੌੜੀ ਤੁਰ ਕਰਮ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੋ ਤੁਧ ਪਾਇਆ ਤਾਂ ਤਿਨਹੀ ਖਸਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ ਇਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਨਤਾ ਕੈ ਵਸ ਕਿਛ ਨਾਹੀ ਤੁਧ ਵੇਖੀ ਜਗਤ ਉਪਾਇਆ ਇਕ ਨਾ ਨੋ ਤੋਂ ਮੇਲ ਲੈ ਇਕ ਆਪੋ ਤੁਧ ਖੁਆਇਆ ਗੁਰ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਤੇ ਜਾਣਿਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਧ ਆਪ ਬੁਝਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜੇ ਹੀ ਸੱਚ ਸਮਾਇਆ ਸਹਿਜੇ ਹੀ ਸੱਚ ਸਮਾਇਆ let's go probably line by line trying to understand what the message we are getting in this set of sloks and podis. So the first slok sach kal kood vartya kal kalak betal. So in this slok the overall structure of the slok is it appears to me that Guru Sahib has given two examples, and by giving two examples, one of kheti and one of coloring a cloth or dyeing a cloth, and he's trying to drive home a message, and the message is of bhakti, which is in the last line, is to be of one-mindedness, of reuniting with one's origin, mool. I like the structure of the body in terms of the first line, Sach Kal Kood Vartya Kal Kalak Betal. It seems like that there is a story or a backdrop that Guru Sahib is building here, that Sach Kal has changed into, we can say, Kal Kal because of Kood. And as we discussed last time, the previous body was completely on Kood, Kood Raja, Kood Parja, Kood Sab Sansar. So it looks like there is a story or there is a backdrop on how the Sach Kal has changed. So the way I understood at least the first line, first pankti was, such is the natural state of being. That and the kal word here in this line is the kalpana or the thoughts, and kood is attachment to impermanence that we spoke of last week, and betal is out of rhythm, that we are not in the rhythm, betal, right? So putting all these together and thinking of the story that Guru Sahib is telling, it occurred to me that when a baby is in mother's womb, the baby is in Sach Kal, the natural state of being. But when she was born, she developed an attachment to impermanence. She understood and developed language, started her thought process, and hence developed an illusion, developed an attachment with everything around herself, and hence got out of rhythm with her natural state of being. So that's how I understood like what's the story that's going on here. And the next pankti, diyo beej pat le gaye ab ve dal. So when the seed of cood or attachment was sown, uh, so basically the plant or like my birth, the pat laga can be translated in multiple ways. The way I understood was like the plant that I was born to grow into that has withered away, and how can Yusuf is asking this rhetorical question that ab kyun ugve dal? Now how can the plant grow? The seed itself that was born is of cood, and then he's in the next line he's answering that message. He's driving that message home. Je ik hoye ta ugve, ruti hu rut hoye. So if your one-mindedness, if you reunite with your mool, uh, then you can actually grow. And the next line, Nanak pahe bahara kore rang na soye. Again, this is the second illustration that he is giving. Like the kora kapda, kora, which is full of starch, the cloth that has just been woven. Like you cannot color or dye that cloth. First, the starch has to be removed. Or the way I understood is that the mind has to be primed. Without priming the mind cannot take the deep color of Naam. And the way you prime the mind, or way traditionally the people who color the cloths, they put the cloth in a utensil called khumb. Right? A khumb is basically of mushroom, and it's a white color. So they say khumb chadaiye, right? So it's similar to, using today's analogy, it's similar to saying Google it, right? If you want to search something online, you say Google it. So Guru Sahib is using khumb chadaiye. That means uh, making it white, or decoloring it, or removing the starch. So what he's saying is by walking in the hukam, we need to prime the mind by walking in the hukam, and saram pahutan hoy. So that's the hard work that we have to do with our bodies. And Nanak Bhakti je rappe kude soe na koi. So by doing this bhakti, by walking in the hukam, the cood will cannot touch us. Moving on to the next set, Mahla Pehla. So in this look seems to be expanding on the concept of cood that was introduced in the last set of sloks. That what happens when cood becomes the driving force of our lives, when, as opposed to such, we are out of rhythm and we let cood or attachment or this impermanence around us. When that is the driving force of our lives, what happens when we forget the kartar or creator, the doer of everything, and we consider ourselves as the doer? So this whole slok, it seems to me, is an explanation of that. uh, like lab paap doy raja mehta kood hua sikdar is driving force, or the chaudhary. Lab is greed, paap is torment, neb is advisor, uh, calm is kamna or thoughts. So we basically we are on autopilot, and we are constantly being driven by our thoughts. And basically we're living in our heads. So what happens then, he says, is andi rayat gyan vihuni pahe pare murdar. The whole body is basically, it's burning. Pahe means fire. And then he takes an example of Gyani, Nache Vaje. Gyani as in preachers, and they just sing on top of their voice. Murak, Pandit, Hikmat, Hujjat. Pandit refers to, we can say, scholars. Basically, we are just, he is simply calling the scholars as Murak, who don't know what the real thing is, and are just, doing the intellectual discourse. Dharmi dharam kare gawave. Religious people, they are after some mokh dwar here or hereafter, but they really don't know what's going on. And same thing with jati, that people who say that we have gotten rid of all the attachments and they leave their homes and go outside, but they miss the whole point of what attachment they had to leave. And in the end, he says, "Sabko pura ape hove katna koi aake." That everybody thinks they're right, they are full of themselves, and they see no fault in them. But he's saying, "Pat parwana piche paiye, ta nanak tolya jape." Parvana is the weight measure that we put it on to measure things. So he's saying the right measure is of the grace or the recognition by the such. Uh, the next slok, Vadi Svajik Nanka Sacha Vikhe Soe. Uh, Vadi, as I understood, was whatever happens, and Suvajik is will happen or has to happen. So whatever happens has to happen, right? So basically he's saying, like, no matter what we do, whatever has to happen will happen. And there is no like, we think we are the creators and we have the force to do things, but that's really not the case. And life does not revolve around us and our wishes, but we are part of life's current. And Guru Nanak is reminding us that it's in our best interest that we align ourselves and flow with the current of life. And it's similar to saying, like, we are like that small fish who is swimming in the river and who wants the river to align the flow as per its own wishes. But eventually the river has its own flow and the fish has to go along with the river. The only choice being we could do it happily or unhappily. Uh, let's move to the Pauri. Tur karam jana ko tud paya ta tinni khasam te aya. Tur is your true self or the true center or the real nature that is inside us or our mool. And karam here I understood as actions which are done in alignment with our natural state of being. So Guru Nanak Sahib is saying, like, whose actions are aligned with their true selves, they have really remembered the Creator. Tatini khasam te aya. In जनता के वस किच नहीं तुद वेकी जगत उपाया. Wiki means diverse, and he's saying the same thing that was said in the previous look. Like, there's nothing in our hands, there's nothing in our control. The Creator has created a diverse uh, set of species, the universe, and ikna no to me like apo tud khoya. So it's all in His hands, and seems like there is a game that's going on, that some are given an opportunity to meet and some are not. But importantly, he think the gur kirpate janya, like knowledge from the guru that is inside me, that is the one that is connecting me to that true source. And by walking in the hukam, like as he said, "Pehvich khum chadaiye." So by walking in the hukam, knowledge or wisdom of my true self have descended upon me, and that is where within me I realize my true nature. So effortlessly, without ego, without home, Sehje hi such Maya. I've merged into such. Viji, back to you.
Ajay, thank you, Chetandeep. I think that was a wonderful exposition that you gave us. And I realize that we have a rather large panel today. So my request would be to each one of you to, when it's your turn to speak, to please be mindful of the fact that we have a large number of people on the panel today. So confine your comments to a couple of minutes maybe, and then so that it gives us a chance to actually come back again. With that said, let me reach out to Dilpreet Singh ji.
हाँ जी वीर
Thoughts,
जी, थैंक यू.
observations, Hanji.
Right. When I was looking at this body, I think that first body Guruji is giving the reasons that why the society and people are not on the right path. And then in the second body, he is talking about the society. It is the history of that time. And there he is talking about then he is going more specific. He is talking about the stage of the kings, people, and then he's talking that what religious leaders are doing. He refers to the Gyanis, and then the people refers to the as
You're
that every
you're breaking off a little.
okay, is it better now?
Yeah, you're good now.
And then he says that all of these people are justifying what they are doing because nobody is saying that I am wrong and they are justifying their wrongdoings. And then he explains that what is the right way to justify or what darpan or what how we should see that if we are right or wrong. Then he is saying that such or inside our inner voice is referring to that. And then in the final body, I think he is referring that it is within us which needs to change and the process needs to start inside us only, that only some people are enlightened by his grace or some people put that effort. That is what how I take the Purav Likhya. And then they put that effort, and because of and they change from within, and it is their effort and the right things they learn. Because somewhere he has also talked about the gyan and all. So that is how he is saying that the things will change and we will change, and then how the society will change. Thank you, Vijay.
Hanji, thank you. Ripudabad Singh, do you have any questions, observations on Chetandeep's explanation?
Hanji, Vijay, could you explain this one again? Ena janta kevas kich nahi tud vekhi jagat upaya. So the turkaram you call the effort that's coming from within, right? And here it says ena janta kevas kich nahi. So could you contrast the two and uh, that'll be helpful. Thank you.
The word I used that within is that whoever's thought process or questioning does not start from within. And if we are not listening to our other than that, in a janta ke vas kuch nahi, otherwise we will be lost. I think that's how he is explaining that whoever is not listening to their inner voice or trying to connect, then without that, nobody has a control. I think that is what it is said. Thank you.
Thank you, Ji.
Hanji, Gurdeep Singh Virji from Montreal.
Anji, Sat Sri Akal ji.
Sasika Virji.
So you can hear me now this time, that's fine. Okay, overall I can just talk about it. This is the change of the era. When the Sat Yug or Sach, the era of Sach, transform into a Kala Yug. So this is the explanation of Kala Yug. This is what is even happening today. No, it's exactly the similar thing what's happening. Here, even in Gurbani says, Ab Kallu Ayo Re, Ik Naam Bovo Bovo, Anrut Nahi Nahi. So this is the beginning of the Kal Yug era, and this is what is going to happen in Kal Yug of this era, and this is exactly what's happening now. And how to get around this era is to get in the sharan of a guru. So we have to need the sanctity of the guru, and then all the wisdom will follow through the guru. So this is what how I understand, but it's very well explained by our friend, the first one. So this is what I feel. I have no question here. This is what we see around. This is what is happening every day.
Hanji.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, Ji. Hanji. All right, Chetandeep Singh, maybe I will stir up a question for you. Um, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I heard you say that the opportunity to connect is open to some and to others, meaning grace is available to some and not to others. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm right in that understanding. And if I am, then my question to you would be, Does that not appear somewhat discriminatory?
Vijay, I don't think I said grace is open to some and
Okay.
not to others.
Okay.
Just hearing you, I think grace is open to all, and it's loud and clear in this body. Surkaram janako to the fire, right? So if like those who connect with such and do actions as per their in tune or in rhythm with their natural being, as he said, pavage khum chadai, like walking in hukam. I think Guru Sahib is saying they are open to grace. They are the receivers of grace.
I see. I see. Okay. Fair enough.
But that raises another question, Runarji.
Anji.
Because just you raise a fundamental question here. Normally, we talk about some people have, although grace we say is everywhere, and some people are in a position to get it, other people not able to get it. And also, as in this the lines here comes, it looks like that some people he has kirpa on some and not on others. And you ask the question is not discriminatory. He is discriminating what is happening there. So I think it goes back to the question of many people on the panel don't believe. And when I sit back and think the whole cycle of death, we go through evolutionary process and we go through a lot of dunes. So karma di gal aayi hai, I think many people don't agree on that. I have reflected on that many times. I think there's no way out. If you try to develop any model like that, unless you bring those dunes into that, you cannot answer the question Gurbani is saying. So I think there is a linkage there to the past karma. People don't believe it, that's their prerogative. But when I sit back and think about that, somebody asked me recently a question. They said, if that's not the case, when people die from where the whole more Jews, more people are coming from where they are coming. If people are dying and then new people are born, why they're born, from where they are coming? And I answered, nobody can answer that question. And I said, we can't answer the question because if we ignore that part of the model, the dunes don't exist. It's just like in this ocean is there, sun is shining, steam comes, goes up, clouds, it becomes clouds, and water comes back. It's a cycle. And we have to keep the dunes aspect in the loop. This is my thinking. If we ignore that, then we cannot answer the question you just asked. That's my view, anyways.
I have a question.
Anji, hang on, Paisab. Let me sort
Okay.
of. I'll come to you. Chetandeep, do you want to respond to Rana Virji's observation since you're the presenter?
I don't know which part to respond to, but I think the part that we were speaking about, the grace and actions,
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason we are not able to understand, like some people, like why they act, like, you know, the whole game that's going on and why some people are able to connect and all. I think we are trying to intellectualize something that we don't understand or experience. And it's like, we are like Guru Nanak Sahib has left at that, right? He has simply left at that. Ikna no tu mela ikapo tu khoya. He's left at that. So experience that and understand that. But I also want to point out again on what Veerji just said about Pishliyan Juna. And I think the first pankti of this body, Sach Kal Kood Vartya, my understanding is that when we are in mother's womb, we are in Sach Kal. We are connected and see, we are doing Naam Simran. And the reason I say that is I'm going to read out Mahila Chautha. It says, Pehle pehre rehn ke vanjarya mitra, har paya udar manjar, har tyave, har uchre vanjarya mitra, har naam samar, har naam jape arade, which agni har jap jivya, bahar janam paya mukh laga, sarse pita mat thivya, जिसकी वस्त चेतो प्राणी कर हृदय गुरमुख विचार कहो नानक प्राणी पहले पहरे हर जपिए कृपा तार. So in as I look at it, like we are already there. We are in our natural state of being. It's nothing related to anything previously coming from something. when we are there in the pehle pehre in mother womb, we are there. We are connected, and the moment we take birth, साढ़ा ध्यान खिल्लर जांदा, right? Live chudki lage trishna. So that's how I would respond to that.
Hanji, ठीक है. Thank you for that observation. And before I come to you, Pai Sahab, I also want to add to what you've just said, Chetandeep. I think there is a pankti that goes Amal Galula Kood Ka Ditta Devan Har. Here the idea is that somehow when, and you mentioned this in your explanation, that we become attached to the world of change, and that is the Amulka Galola that has been given to us. So I think it is a question of not so much the evolutionary, although that is a, I think what Rana Virji has raised is a valid sort of observation about things. But in this case, we are really talking about being disoriented, betal. And I think I just wanted to bring that difference out. Hanji Bhai Sahab, Bhai Banslal ji.
मेरा क्वेश्चन सी पौड़ी तोर कर्म जना को तुद पाया. Does that karam here means the karam, or karam here means के बख्शिश के जिना होते तोर दई बख्शिश हुई है, the one who have been blessed from up there, they are able to, whatever you translate the ayah.
Okay. So that question is directed to you, Chetanti, but then I just want to, I can't help myself in saying if that is the case, then that is why I raised that question. Jinnah te hoi hai. That means सारियां ते नहीं हुई.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one who were
Chetanti?
blessed,
Yeah.
were blessed from
So that means not everybody is blessed.
Correct. Yeah.
not everybody is blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. Chetanti, you want to talk about that, or before I go to the others?
So then, if we take the karam as our actions that are aligned with our real self, then this question doesn't arise.
Right.
But
Right.
I think either ways, even if we take any of the explanation, so karam as in
As
grace
in
or
Bakshish.
actions, I think so. What I understood or what I felt was like when we are living in hukam, or uh, when our actions are aligned as per hukam pehvij khum chadaiye, then basically we stop writing our lekha, right? And then the lekha that is written is by the kartar. Like we are not doing any action, we are not writing any lekha, but the lekha is written by kartar, and that lekha or that actions which are in a line with our tur, that you can call as grace or you can call our actions. It's the one and the same thing, at least in my head.
Thank you, Anji. Dilpreet, let me come to you, make a round again on this very interesting kind of digression that we have formed here. Very
Hanji Virji.
fascinating. Anji.
Yep. See, talk about this Turkaram or Pichle Janam, right? Or Purable Karam. Or we talk about this Agge Jaake Lekha Hoega. So, what I take it as this, that okay, whatever we have done yesterday, or whatever we have learned or inherited, and then Juna, like the Pichle Janam, some things now science is also saying is as a DNA we are inheriting from our parents. And now they are saying, and then our parents also train us, give us the thought, and then it is our effort how we use that environment and knowledge, and how we try, somebody tried to think out of the box and pop out of it. So that is what I think it is referring, that okay, this environment and everything is given to everyone, they inherit, and then some people question it, and then they think out of the box and they try to pop out of it. So that is Tudpaya, and that is where he's saying in a Janta ke was kuch nahi, that it everybody is like a machine. If we don't think out of the box, or if we don't inherit that knowledge, then it is, we are doing the same thing and we are justifying what we are doing it. So that is
Uh,
how I am taking this whole game. Thank you.
ठीक है जी, very interesting. Gurdeep Singh Veer ji, do you want to say something about this?
Hanji, yes, the peh is the first step to start with. Peh which khumb chadaiye. You cannot color any cloth unless there is a khumb is put on that cloth. Then the color will come. So peh is the first step in the bhakti. As per your question, sabji tere dayala apne bhakt kare pratapala. So ji sare we all belong to the God, but why he takes better care of his own bhagat? So sabji tere dayala apne bhakt kare pratapala. I can quote here like a mother is taking care for his own child, and there's a nanny taking care for the same child. So the difference come in 25 years. When the both child are brought up, came up to the age of 25, you will see there's a lot of difference. The child being brought up by mother and the child being brought up by the nanny. It's the same difference here by the God who takes care for his own. So then the next step is actually paho. Then is a pahavni. So these are three steps in the bhakti. Of course, I believe in past life. If you take five kids of the same age, give them toys to play with, watch their action, you will see one of the five boys is more aggressive than the others. One will be so greedy, he will like to take all the toys himself. One will be so generous, he will pass on his toy to the other one. So why it's happening? Where it's coming from? Of course, Chandeep said very good point from the womb. Yes, that's a Satyug. There his live chutki lagi tisna. He's very right there. But I can relate to the past life as your past days. Every day Sangat, the congregation of the friends of meeting the people around, and something is still in the hand of God. So bhakti, moment you become a bhagat, bhakta ki sada tu rakhda hai har jiyo, tu rakhda hai, pehlad jant rakh liye har jiyo, nakshmat bachaya. So this whole Gurbani takes us everywhere. These were different examples, but the sense is the similar. कल के लक्षण ही इलितना चौधरी ऐसा कल में डीठा. So exactly, I think the important part is the kumbh. And first thing is Pah, Jandeep said order, or is it Hukam, is it right too? I have nothing to say. The second
हाँ
is
जी,
Paho and Pavni. Thank you. I think this.
Well, what this is a very interesting question, and I think it's a very important and fundamental thing where we should spend a lot of time, may not be today or whenever.
हाँ जी,
If I am told that I was born with certain baggage, I will be very depressed. I will be very depressed that I have baggage from millions of lives or something. The Guru discusses who dies and who is birth, and he says he does not go into this body about body. He says कि वो पंजा तत्या तात मिल गया मिट्टी मिल गई doesn't indicate कि फिर किधर जाएगी and he will carry the baggage in the next life. So because if I believe that I'll be highly depressed, and then there will no way, because I don't know what last million of lives what baggage I'm carrying. So my assumption is that I don't carry any baggage from past. I create my baggage in this life,
हाँ
and
जी,
and whatever I do in this life, that become baggage. Of course, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, my man, my intellect, my body, my man, not physical body. It takes hundreds of lives. I mean, every minute I am a snake, I am a donkey, I am a god, I am whatever, depending on what. If I am getting mad at you, or if I am loving, Guru Sahib ने किया ना कि वो माया दा love करो तो you are a snake. Well, I'm snake today if I'm sitting on wealth and engorge myself in that aspect. So सारी पौड़ी दी बदल जाती है translation with which what we are believing in that respect, because then you interpret the next one and next one, interpretation will change.
हाँ जी. ठीक है जी, I think we are raising some questions that may not directly pertain to this
Yeah,
Pauri, but they are interesting questions. They do have a habit of surfacing in these discussions.
Can I chime?
Hanji, I'm coming to you, Chetandeep. In fact, I was going to reach out to you. Chetandeep, since you're the presenter, I want to give you an opportunity here to really take whatever time you need.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Pai Hansali said. Like we believe in something and then we interpret every line according to that, and and I also agree with you. I think we digressed a lot from what is being said in the body. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of actually spending time on the body, we have like digressed into Purab Likhya, and there is no word used Purab here at all. And Turkaram, I think if that is what throwing us off, I would like to read a couple of lines that at least for me help me understand. If we simply take Turkaram as the actions that we do in accordance with our true being, or hukam de vich chalna, if you simply translate it like that, I think that clarifies us a lot. And even what question Ripudaman is asking, in a janta ke vas kich nahi. So Guru Nanak Pasha is saying ki walking in the hukam, like those who walk in the hukam, they get it, and we actually have no other option. In a janta, there is no other choice, right? It's like being a fish in the water. So a couple of lines that I want to point out, and then I'll give it back to you. So there are few shabads. At least there is. The lines are as follows: Taj home gur gyan pajo, mil sangat tur karam likhyo. So we are writing mil sangat tur karam likhyo. We are walking in the hukam by meeting the sangat, as we want to understand. And then antar pritam vasya tur karam likhya kartar. So it's not related to Purab Likhya or anything. It's like connecting to our true self is I think what was throwing us off.
Hanji.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I ask a simple question? What do you mean from Tur?
Tur is our Tur literally means the center or the axle or the axis. And in this context, what I understand Tur is like our true being, our mool,
Yeah.
our consciousness, or our like in alignment with our true being, our real nature.
Okay. I agree on that. It doesn't mean we are writing for the next life or anything.
no, because commonly Tur is taken to mean the past, but I think Chetandeep is saying that that is not what he means. He means Tur to me to be the very center of your being.
Yeah.
The very source of your being is Tur.
Okay.
So, and that is what he's trying to imply here. This thing, you had a question or final observation?
Hanji, I think more of a question. I think I'm stating to the body. गुर कृपा को जाने जिथे तुझ आप बुझाया. Can we go with this line again? Like, if we interpret Gur as a knowledge or Guru Granth Sahib or internal mool, so what exactly is meant by this line? Because this line is very important. That is kind of the sar of this body.
Chetandeep Singh?
Uh, so the way I understood this line is, as you said, Gur is, if we take knowledge or the knowledge uh, or wisdom of my true self. Basically, I came to realize the knowledge of my own self. Listen to the aap bujhaya, like eventually Guru Sahib is saying it's all in your hand, right? There is no me. There is no me left when when I come to know you. So then it's your doing, it's not my doing at all. I
Okay.
don't know if I make sense, but
Hanji, no, I think that's good. So I think that's Ravinder Viji. I think that's where the discussion is going again and again. Difference between the kirpa and the effort. So where the kirpa or Nagar plays the role, and where our effort plays the role. So that is very important.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of different strands have come out of this discussion today. All of them worthy sort of topics for a discussion. But obviously, we have to stay focused on what we are talking about today. And I think I'm all for sort of putting those in a parking lot and coming back to them. but all of them very valid observations. And these are things that we all wrestle and grapple with in our lives. So,
ਜਾਣਿਆ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੂੰ ਆਪ ਬੁਝਾਇਆ. Gore here is not a person that there's some person ਨੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੇ. Gore is a ਗਿਆਨ.
I think we are all agreed on that.
ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਗਿਆਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੱਬ ਬੁੱਝ ਗਿਆ. ਜਦੋਂ ਗਿਆਨ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੱਬ ਬੁੱਝ ਗਿਆ. ਕਿਸੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਲ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ. ਉਹ knowledge ਜਦੋਂ receive ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸਾਨੂੰ, when we acquire the knowledge, ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਸਮਝ ਆਈ ਹੈ. ਬੁੱਝਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸਮਝ ਆਈ ਹੈ. My final question is that I like to have a somebody
final observation.
What take home message, not observation, take home what message I take from this today.
Chetandeep, that's a question for you. What should Paisab take home today?
That's what I was hoping for. I would get a chance to summarize. The reason being, our discussion digressed a lot.
Yes. So here's your opportunity.
Right. So I think what I take home from this body is what Guru Sahib is saying, like how I was in such kal earlier, and what happens when food becomes a driving force of my life. And he is giving all the illustrations and asking questions like this will happen if the food becomes a driving force, and that is again a motivation, or that is an incentive for us in this life to connect with such rather than food. And the message is like walking in the hukam and trying to connect with our true self is a message that I take home from this body, and connecting to the such in this way.
Thank you very much, Chetandeep. I think that was extremely well put. Sort of addresses a lot of these questions. So whether or not there are past lives, there is enough incentive to walk in hukam in this life itself. So with that, we are out of time. And thank you very much, everyone. See you next week. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.